Jai Gurudev. Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. So let's share our takeaways from the Atma Bodh session. The dream world is such a beautiful analogy, and we go through that every day. So when we look at the world as as a dream, that samsara swapnatulyo hi ragadveshadi sankulaha, and when you realize that even when you are in the waking state, that this whole world is a dream, that will elevate you to a certain level where the clutches of raga, dvesha, and all the other negative tendencies of the mind will loosen up, because then you know that all of this is also a dream. Which was that? I think it was verse number 6. Yeah. Samsara swapnatulyo hi ragadveshadi sankulaha swakale satyavad bhati prabodhe sati asad bhavet. So just like how when we wake up from our sleep, we realize that the dream was just a dream. Similarly, when we wake up to the knowledge of who we truly are, all of this that we've been experiencing as though true will turn the falsity of that how it is a dream will just show up then. The world, which is full of attachments, aversions, is like a dream. It appears to be real as long as it continues, but appears to be unreal when one is awake. That is when true wisdom dawns. Anyone wants to add to this? Any of your experiences? Yeah, Dr. Renu says, see everyone and meet everyone as you meet your own family, as we all belong to the same consciousness. Yes, that is what Nana said. When you, uh, when while living in the world, when you look at the reality of the unreal, then it will expand your belongingness, expand your consciousness to encompass everyone. Then that uh, mm, you will be able to see yourself in everyone. Hmm, that is true. It is common knowledge that in a dream, the mind creates for itself a fanciful existence. Unfulfilled desires, passions, and emotions, which we carry in our minds when we go to bed, often show themselves in our dreams. That is why he who has a balanced mind and who has brought his mind well under control, who is not tossed by anger, pride, and petty jealousies, likes and dislikes, does not wander away into wild dreams created by his feeble mind. It is a weak person that is a victim of this unhealthy sign of unfulfilled desires and thoughts.
So
In the
beautiful. This is, yeah.
yeah, so which is why people who have their senses under control, who are like more Atma Ramaha, they they actually have more of deep sleep state rather than dream state. One who has a balanced mind and who has brought his mind well under control and is not tossed by anger, pride, and petty jealousies, likes and dislikes, does not wander away. So, in fact, I think the quality of our sleep and what we go through, the dream and whatever, that is a reflection of how well we are, um, how good a sadhak we are. I mean, I think that is the import this paragraph gives us. In the dream world, we have a variety of experiences. In the waking state, also, experiences exist, but we are not prepared to accept the waking state as a prolonged dream. The reason is the firm grip which avidya has over us, preventing us from accepting the reality of the real. We are not fully qualified ourselves to understand and realize the ephemeral nature of the existence of objects around us and of our own exact relationship with our body, mind, and intellect. We are so caught up in this identification of we identify ourselves with our body, mind, intellect, and we have the strong I-ness and minus about things that belong, so-called belong to us. That is why the living, the waking state is also such a binding experience on us. We are not able to loosen up our grip and consider that also as a prolonged dream. The dream is quite real to us so long as we are in it. When once we wake up from it, we realize the unreality of the entire experience. Similarly, when once we go deep into the layers of the matter envelopments and experience the all pervading spirit, the pluralistic existence rolls off and we feel awakened to that supreme self which alone is thereafter experienced as the real. Therefore, awake from the unreal existence by tearing asunder the ignorance, avidya, that is covering the real knowledge, and let us realize the blissful nature of our own self. This is what happens in meditation, no? When you go through the deep layers of your matter envelopments, when you go beyond the mind and intellect and the ego, and you settle down in meditation, then you feel that expansive feeling where the pluralistic existence rolls off. You just feel that oneness. You feel so united with the whole universe, the whole cosmos. Yeah. The only thing is, to us, it happens only in meditation. But the idea is the ultimate goal is to be in that state throughout. Because the moment we finish, come out of meditation and that state, we slip back into this avidya so-called engulfs us back. So tearing asunder that ignorance, that is with true knowledge. Anyone wants to share anything? Tavat satyam jagad bhati shuktikarajam yatha yavan jnayate brahma sarvadhishthanamadvayam. The Jagat appears Tavat as a correlative of Yavat, so long as Satyam, true, Jagat, Bhati appears, Shuktika Rajatam, silver in the mother of pearl, Yatha, like Yavat as a relative of Tavat, as long as Na, not Nyayate is realized, Brahman, Sarvadhishtanam, the substratum for all, Advayam, one without a second. The Jagat appears to be true, Satyam, so long as Brahman, the substratum, the basis of all this creation, is not realized. Yavat na jnayate Brahma sarvadishtanam advayam. As long as you do not realize that Brahman or the consciousness is the substratum of all of creation and the basis of all the creation, then as long as you have this ignorance, Jagat appears true, just like the illusion of silver in the mother of pearl. Jagat is not to be understood as the gross outer world only, as we usually conceive it to be. It is the total experience of an individual in the three states of existence: the waking, dream, and deep sleep. Experienced through the different types of equipments: physical, mental, and intellectual. In short, Jagat includes the world of objects cognized for enjoyment as forms, smells, etc., through the sense organs, as feelings and emotions experienced by the mind, and as ideas and ideologies lived by the intellect. The total experience is gained through our gross, subtle, and causal bodies is Jagat. Wow. So basically, everything that is seen either in the waking state, the dream state, or the one that we experience in the deep sleep state. Because that is what the whole creation is. The whole creation has come about from, uh, of course, based on Brahma, from Maya, the Panchamahabhutas, and from the Panchamahabhutas, all our Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Shariras have been born. So, all that pertains to the Sukshma, Sthula, Sukshma, and Karana Shariras, the waking, dream, and the deep sleep. So all this comes under Jagat. As long as one has not entered into the divine state of God consciousness through the realization of the one absolute truth, which is a substratum for all, Sarvadhishtam, Sarvadhishtan, which pervades all manifestations. So long does the Jagat appear to be very true and fully real. As long as we are in the dream state, we cannot disbelieve that the dream we are experiencing is unreal. When once we get up from the dream, we do not again mourn for what we might have lost in the dream, or rejoice over what we might have gained therein. Also, just as on waking up, all the variety experienced in the dream state vanishes to become one with the waking mind, so too, on our spiritual awakening, all the plurality of this multiple world and all our different experiences will merge into that one supreme essence, the substratum for everything. When we have realized the supreme truth and have begun to experience the presence of the eternal God principle, the infinite reality, the highest plane of pure consciousness, which runs in and through us and everywhere, we no more mistake the Jagat as real or as existing apart from that, just as we no more mistake the mother of pearl to be a silver piece when we have recognized its worthless calcium content. Actually, Bhagavan is giving us glimpses of this real, unreal every night with this dream state. Really. In the illusion of a snake on a rope, without the rope, the substratum, the superimposition of the snake is impossible. Likewise, without the self, the supreme, which is immortal, imperceptible, and changeless, and which is referred to here as a substratum, Adhisthana. Even the delusion of a Jagat is not possible. How beautiful this is. Yeah. Please add if anybody else wants to add anything. Atma Bodha knowledge is amazing. Of course. Very true. See, these are all things that we will have to ruminate over. And like Swami Chinmayananda said yesterday in the introduction, he talked about honest observations and logical conclusions. See, these are all the logical conclusions that without the rope, without the substratum of the rope, you cannot superimpose the snake. So similarly, there has to be that one changeless substratum, the self, on which this changing world is superimposed. So when we keep ruminating about this, then slowly and surely, all the concepts that we've so strongly had from so many lives, those concepts will get kind of diluted. Slowly leave they'll let go of their clutches on our mind, on our understanding, and then gradually the knowledge will dawn. So there's a lot of unlearning to do, lot of negating to do, because we're so strongly held. I am the body, I am the ego, I am the intellect. Even as much as giving away something that as though belongs to you, you think so much, oh, this is mine, I might use it for later, and you go on hoarding things. No, the funny part is all that is part of this dream world that we consider so real. It's beautiful. So we'll go to chapter 17. If anybody else wants to share anything with Atma Bodh, please do. If not, we'll go to chapter 17. Yesterday we were actually rereading. Um, are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhraj. Yes.
Yeah. So we were reading the verse number 16 in chapter 17. The manah prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhi rityetat tapo manasam uchyate. So mental cheerfulness in expression, appreciation, and surrender. Living life like the ant. When you observe an ant, it just goes about doing things and it lives one day at a time. When it's walking, it's not worried about whether there is someone who will trample upon it, or there is a wind that will take it away, or water that floods it. It just does it happily. So all your life you have to manage one day at a time. So that is one. And then life of an ant is a good example. It's very busy, but it has its own time off also. You can see it just sitting there in one place for some time, then getting busy, then it seems to communicate something to another ant. I think we all should take some time and watch these creatures around. No, so much to learn from them. And if the sugar crystal is too big, it goes and asks for help, and then they gang up and they come and they pull the sugar crystal, and then they finish off the whole thing. It does not seem to worry much, even though people are walking nearby. It can die any time, but it does not seem concerned. It just keeps busy. If that ant can survive, not only one, but teeming millions, right on the sidewalk, living as I am in this vast world, I can easily find my livelihood. This is such a beautiful message to all those of us who may have gone through challenges or who may be going through challenges with respect to jobs. Maybe some of us have not got jobs or lost jobs, or wondering, or those that are in business are experiencing some losses. Just to understand that, hey, come on, you will be provided. You can live just like how an ant lives, you can also live. The future will take care of itself. I may plan for the future, but I do what I can today. That is all. Today's plan is like this, and tomorrow's plan may be the same, or I may revise it. This one day at a time never goes away. These are the attitudes that bring about surrender. In fact, Gurudev goes one step ahead and he says, one moment at a time. Live your life every moment. So living in the present is living your life every moment, where your mind is not drawn away either into the shackles of the past or the future. So there is this law, then there is this law, what will be, will be. This is a beautiful shock absorber. Bhavitavyam bhavatyeva. What is to happen will happen. This is similar to saying the present moment is inevitable. Whatever will happen, will happen. I will do what I can. And then um, all the menus, I'm just running through this again. All the menus for your whole lifetime, what you are going to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything is completely mapped out and made known to you. What if you get to know this? There is no fun in this. There are no surprises, no turn of events. I'm reminded of this beautiful message once I read somewhere, is that they have, this is how you consider your life. They have put up steps, nice a straight staircase, and the person is kind of walking up on the stairs. But this is what God has, this is what God's plan is for you. And this is ups and downs and valleys and rivers and this and that. So we consider our life as we plan it, it has to go this way. But what the cosmos thinks of, has plans for our life, might be totally different. So being open to that. So that is living life with as one day at a time. If you want to have some surprises, make your plans. Do what you have to, and leave the outcome to the factors that shape the unfolding of events. What is to happen to you, your own prarabdha, and that of others are all intertwined. This is how things happen. Sometimes you may have very good things happening to you. Sometimes you may have something not good happen to you. But take that with the same attitude. If you've understood and assimilated even what has happened so far, you have an attitude that is ready for surprises. That is mental cheerfulness. Manah prasada. A number of things are involved in this. Whenever concern or anxiety arises, we resolve it by bringing back the proper attitude. Just remind yourself that it is nice being yourself. Say to yourself, it is nice being myself. In whichever area you have to change, make efforts to change. If necessary, take help, even the help of Bhagwan in the form of prayer. I do not have to prove myself to anybody. If another person thinks ill of me, it is his problem. I just accept myself as I am. It is nice being myself. Have a sentence like this and repeat it now and then like a mantra. You will find that you are together as a person. This is, at least psychologically, the result of the teaching. So it is said, if you cannot be comfortable with yourself, how can you be comfortable with others around you? If you cannot be at ease with yourself, how can you be at ease with others? So we have to first and foremost accept ourselves and not consider ourselves culprits and victims. And yeah, of course, essentially, there is nothing but yourself. You are the only one here, and therefore there is no problem. But even psychologically, it is just being myself. It's just nice being myself. I accept myself as I am totally. I do not need to prove anything to anybody on this earth, not even to God. If I have to prove myself to God, then His acceptance of me would become conditional. Then He's not God, because it means if you are good, if you are nice, God will accept you. If you are not, then God will not accept you. Then He is no different from, He is like any other person. If the person who does not accept you as you are is someone who cares for you, and therefore you care for his opinion, what kind of care is that? When someone cannot accept you as you are, what is that care? Suppose a nurse taking care of a patient does not accept him as he is. She complains that he goes on scratching. But that is his problem. That is why she's there taking care of him. She can tell him not to scratch too much, or put on some gloves on him, or cut his nails so that he does not create new problems for himself. But she has to accept him as he is. That is what care is. If someone cares for me, he must necessarily take me as I am. That is what counts. Those who really care for you do not have any opinion about you. They just take you as you are. This is so pertinent to our own family members. If someone mistakes you, it is his problem. Just remember, it is nice being myself. When you get up in the morning, acknowledge that it is nice being alive. You do not take life for granted. It is one more day for celebration. Plan how you will celebrate today. Even under the shower, you can start celebrating. Like this, celebrate the day with what you are doing. It does not mean that you must bake a cake every day. Anything that you do is a celebration. I am alive today. It is nice being alive. It is nice doing what I do. That is what the attitude is. This is Mana Prasada. I'm reminded of Gurudev's knowledge, which says, uh, poor man celebrates the new year. I think this was with respect to New Year or any other celebration, celebrates the new year once a year. Whereas a rich person celebrates it every moment. And a rich person celebrates it every day, but the richest is one who celebrates it every moment, celebrates life every moment. Mm. So the takeaways from this paragraph are that number one, when you are caring for someone, then you accept them as they are without putting any preconditions. You can give them solutions, like how that nurse gives the solutions, but you have to accept. Like if it's your husband or your child, who may not be according to what you think they are, you have to accept them, you know. That is one. On one side, you accept people as they are, and on the other, you accept yourself as yourself. I am what I am. It is nice being myself. Otherwise, our whole life we go on uh, trying to make, perfecting ourselves. Not that you should not. You, of course, change whatever needs to be done. But moment to moment, that acceptance of yourself. Otherwise, you're in constant judgment of yourself for others. No? This will free ourselves from the binding influence of our intellect and ego. Anyone wants to share anything over here? When the mind has this attitude, there is saumyatva. This is an expression of the frame of mind, the antahkarana vritti. Shankara says it is clarity, swachhata, which is also cheerfulness. Shankara says something very interesting here. Suppose a father's eyebrows are raised when he looks at his son. From this external indication, the boy understands his father's mental state, that he is angry. Then, as a son, he tries to please him. Once the father is pleased, what happens? He has a smile. From this smile, the child is able to understand that his father is okay now. The facial expression reveals what is in the mind. That pleased frame of mind, vritti, reflected in the face, is what is called saumyatva. Thus Shankara says, from the cheerfulness of the face, etc., the frame of mind is inferred. When Manaprasada is there, there is an external expression evident on the face, and that is what they call Samyatva. I think the reverse is also true. That's why Gurudev says, fake it till you make it. So even if you're not feeling very well, if you just have a smile on your face, it will automatically bring in that cheerfulness in your mind. It reveals a cheerfulness of the mind. From the mouth, eyes, eyebrows, words, the whole demeanor of the person, you infer that he is pleased. The tapas here is, when you are displeased, you bring back a pleased condition of the mind, which will bring about a smile. This is not a behavioral modification, but a change that comes about by a process of thinking. So the tapas, this is the manah tapas, right? So when you are displeased, you bring back a pleased condition of the mind. So the least that we can do from now on is, if at all we are upset about something, to remind ourselves to smile. When we smile, automatically then slowly the mind also starts coming back from that displeasure to a pleasant state of mind. Mauna is restraint in speaking, even though it is a discipline of the organ of speech and might be included in the discussion of Vak Tapas. Here it is considered as a mental discipline. Why? Speaking properly and sometimes not speaking is possible only when you have Mauna inside. When there are certain words that you want to say, And
Okay, yeah, so totally black, blue, इसी material.
can you mute yourself unless you want to say something? So why speaking properly and sometimes not speaking is possible only when you have mauna inside. When there are certain words that you want to say and you refrain from saying them, that is mauna. If the thoughts themselves do not arise, that also is mauna. Even if they do, by proper thinking, you eliminate the necessity to express them. In this way, the pressure to talk is not built up inside. The effect of the absence of a necessity to talk is externally expressed as mauna. Generally, there is always a pressure to talk. We build it up. The absence of such a pressure to talk to another person is what is called mauna. This silence at the level of speech is because of the mind being silent. It is a tapas because it can be accomplished only by discipline. There is an attempt involved by proper thinking to bring about mauna. For instance, if someone is hurling insults at you or is blaming you for no fault of yours, then there is some turbulence happening in the mind, isn't it? But then at that point, if you can hold yourself from retorting back, replying back, or answering back, and scolding them back again, that is tapas. There is a certain amount of restraint. So that can happen only when there is mauna. Mauna is that ability, the effect of the absence of a necessity to talk. So there you are exercising both vak tapas as well as manah tapas. If we can practice this, on a day-to-day basis, talk only when it is necessary, and not just talk because you want to fill in the air time, take up air time. And that is why I think there are some people who practice mauna at least one day of a week. I know some of my friends who every Monday or so, they just say, today we are going into silence. We are not going to speak. That will be a very good exercise actually to do. Apart from, of course, doing our advanced courses, but advanced courses you do only for a short period of time, 3, 4, 5 days or 7 days, whatever. But this, if we can inculcate, will be a beautiful tapas. Atma Vinigraha is mastery over the ways of the mind in general. There is no ambiguity about the meaning of the word Atma here. Since the topic is mental tapas, it can only mean the mind. Mauna is a particular aspect of this tapas with reference to speech. But Atma Vinigraha is mastery with reference to everything. I just was reminded when someone is hurling insults at you, not speaking, not giving back is tapas at one level, is that mauna. But if in your mind, at your level of the mind also, if you can silence that turbulence, it is not creating that inner anger. Sometimes we might not say anything outside, but inside we might be kind of chewing up a lot. Like if you're spoken to you, if your superior at work or your boss is saying something to you out of the situation, because of the situation, out of respect for his position and for fear of your own job, you cannot retort anything back immediately. But you are going through a lot of turbulence in your mind. But even that, if you can quieten down by restraint, Atma Vinigraha is mastery with reference to everything. By proper discipline, one gains a certain mastery over the ways of thinking and is not carried away by a thought process. Whatever is necessary in following this discipline is called tapas. Any writing that you do to give expression to a feeling that you do not want to verbalize to someone, or any kind of therapy you undergo, is also Atma Vinigraha. It includes anything you do which is useful in getting rid of some pressure. All your emotions have to be put in order, and whatever you do to accomplish that comes under Atma Vinigraha. Anything you do for the sake of mental health is a sadhana. It is not outside yoga. I should read this paragraph to my daughter. She's an art psychotherapist. And yeah, I would want to share, I will share this with her. Bhava anyone wants to share, please unmute and speak. Huh? Feel free. Yeah, I think Dr. Renu has mentioned something. Let me just read what she has read. Accept people and situations as they are. Very right. First point of happiness course. Add to it, accept yourself first. Silence course. Mauna, silence of speech, and mind is tapas. Very right. Bhava Samshuddhi is a particular technical expression. Clear intentions when you are dealing with people is Bhava Samshuddhi. Whether your motives are understood by others or not, they are clean. The motive is at the level of the mind, not the action. If the motive is not clean, we analyze why this is so and thereby get rid of the particular type of thinking that allowed such a motive to come. That is why um, actions might be impure, imperfect, but the intention behind the action, if that is pure, then it does not matter if your actions appear to be imperfect. Shankara explains this Bhava Samshuddhi as amaya vitva, amaya vitva, absence of deception. Mayavi means in this context a cheat. He does or says one thing and thinks something entirely different. This nature of a Mayavi is called Mayavitva. The one who is free from this Mayavitva, one who is totally free from any deceit in his interactions with people, has Bhava Samshuddhi. All these together constitute Manasam Tapas. So beautiful this is. So we have, what are all that constitute Manas Tapas?
Basically,
Huh?
sorry, I joined late, Dr. Brahmara. So,
Neha, we were
yeah.
asking you. In fact, I had
Hmm.
asked you a question about knowledge to Nana. Of course, he said he will answer that later. So
Okay.
you've not missed out the answer yet.
Okay. Good. Because I had to go out today and I
No
just
problem.
joined right while you are reading.
Yeah.
So, for Manas Tapas, there are a few things we read, right? Like,
Yeah.
one is,
Sadhana is one. There is
uh,
mental cheerfulness.
yeah, that cheerfulness. And then you have the
Mauna.
Mauna, and then the Bhava Samshuddhis, right?
Atma Vinigraha also.
Oh, right. Atma Vinigraha.
Atma Vinigraha is where you do all those that
That
it is a discipline in the mind wherein you are
mm,
It's a mastery with respect, with reference to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you're holding back from what you want to say. That is one. That is mauna. But then
Mm-hmm.
you're also cleansing it out from your mind level by expressing it. Like instead of saying it verbally, you want to write it down, or you get into a chant, or you sing. So you're getting out of that, the clutches of the disturbance in the mind.
Wow, what is okay, mastery over the base of the mind in general. Atma Vinigraha. Hmm. So I mean, trying to see what the meaning was.
It is
Okay.
basically, I think, the ways it is
Mhm.
mastery over the way one over our thought process, how we think.
Right, right. Hmm. So basically, it's talking about that mauna, right? When you have the pressure to talk, that's a speech part of it,
Correct.
where you're wanting to be quiet, and then the second part is that your mind itself becoming quieter, so
Yeah.
that okay, so that is more of silencing the mind.
Still silencing. See, silence
Hmm.
at the level of speech is one level, that is physical,
Right,
vak so called.
right. So we are
That is
not talking to somebody. Yeah.
mauna, right? Second is
Okay.
at the level of your mind. Like I was just sharing an example, I think, before you had come.
Mm,
Supposing your boss or someone is hurling a lot of insults at you, humiliations,
right, right. Yeah.
you cannot immediately retort because of the position he's in. He's your superior, so you can't say out anything. So at the level of the vak, you are holding back the pressure to
Yeah.
talk. But in
Right.
your mind, you might be building up a volcano.
Mm,
There's a
yeah.
lot
That.
of heat, a lot of anger, a lot of upset, hurt, and all that is happening inside of your mind. So this
Mm,
Atma Vinigraha comes in there, wherein you you direct your thought process to kind of silence even this turbulence in the mind,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
resort to doing something. You have all of this now. You don't want to keep all of that there, right? So you silence that by either expressing it out in the form of writing it out and then tearing it up, or singing or chanting, or that is what Swamiji has mentioned. It includes
Mm-hmm.
anything you do which is useful in getting rid of some pressure. Sorry. All your
Mm-hmm.
emotions must be put in order, and whatever you do to accomplish that comes under Atma Vinigraha. Anything you do for the sake of mental health is a sadhana. So all the psychotherapy and even meditation, prayer, chanting, all of this comes under Atma Vinigraha, I suppose, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah. Basically, they comprise all of that in one paragraph here. Put it as a mental tapas and also like a sadhana.
Correct. And Bhava Samshuddhi, as I understand, is also the same as Arjavam, where what you think is what you say and what you do.
Mm,
See, your
yeah.
intention is pure, and you translate the same intention into your action and expression.
Mm-hmm.
Maya Vitva, Amaya Vitva is what is Bhava Samshuddhi.
Mm,
That is, one, see, a Mayavi is one who does something and thinks something entirely different.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So often, I mean, I can speak for myself. I certainly am a Mayavi in so many ways, because I have not reached this stage of Bhava Samshuddhi where whatever is there in my mind is what I say and what I do.
Mm,
So a lot of cleansing is required there at the level of Bhava Samshuddhi. It's a beautiful tapas practice to
mhm.
follow.
Yeah. So here, so they summarize the whole thing here.
Yeah.
Threefold tapas. Okay.
Now this threefold tapas, kayika physical, vachika oral, and manasa mental, is going to be further categorized as threefold, depending on the disposition of the one who is doing it. The same thing can be done, but the way in which it is done and the purpose for which it is done determine whether it is sattvika, rajasika, or tamasika tapas. श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते. tat trividham tapas, that threefold tapas, aphala kangshibihi naraihi, by the people who have no expectation of results other than mental purity, yuktaihi, who are composed, paraya shraddhaya, with total shraddha, taptam, observed, satvikam, satvika, parichakshate, they call. That threefold tapas, observed with total shraddha by people who have no expectation of results other than mental purity and who are composed, is called sattvika. Do you want to read the rest of this? Today shall we close in about 5 minutes? We'll close after 5. I thought we'll... Dr. Mara, are you there?
Yeah, you want me to read this?
Yeah, you can read this.
Okay. Shraddha Paraya.
Shraddhaya paraya.
Oh, Shraddhaya Paraya. Okay, means with Shraddha, which is complete. Oh, Paraya means complete. It lacks nothing. With full Shraddha, the tapas discipline is observed. Taptam. So with full Shraddha, the tapas discipline is observed. Taptam. In what is this Shraddha? It is the Shraddha that what the Shastra says is true. Astika Buddhi.
Astikya buddhi.
Or Astika Buddhi. Okay. Right. So that's the Veda says, right? So
Yeah, we have astika, nastika, no?
Astika. Yeah.
So astikya, that belief coming from the spirit.
Right. Astika Buddhi. Because of this, all the stipulations that are mentioned in the Shastra are followed without compromise. Not only that, he has the same Astika Buddhi in what the Guru says. The words of the teacher are looked upon as true by him. If he does not understand them, he tries to understand them with the assumption that they are true. This tapas is observed by human beings, Naraihi, in a threefold way, Trividam, that is Kaika, Vachika, or Manasa. Who are the people by whom the tapas being discussed here is done? They are not doing it. They are not doing it for the sake of a result like security, pleasure, or punya to be enjoyed later. They are free of all such expectations with reference to results. They are the apala
Kankshis.
apala kankshis, and are doing it only for mental purity, antakarana shuddhi. They have a mind which is composed and committed, yukta. Those who have been well taught say,
Parichakshate.
Parishakshate, that tapas of this sort done by people like this is sattvika.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Just
Before, I don't know. I remember like we talked.
give me one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you were saying something, Dr. Mara?
We reviewed it, but more, since we are doing this threefold, and it seemed like, yeah, that's fine. I think that same thing, right? That for Satvika person who doesn't, they do this
They
without
do this means all this kaika, vachika, manasika tapas, they're
right.
doing it without any expectation of results except for mental purity.
Yeah,
They're
antakarna.
not doing it, yeah,
Mhm.
they're not doing it for the sake of attaining something in this life, some punya and all that. No, they're not doing it for punya also,
Right,
right?
for
So
the
that's,
pleasure or security or any of those
yeah.
things. Yeah. Mhm. So, all right. Do you want to finish today, or you want to continue for?
Let me see how much is there. 1 second. We have 18, 19, and 20. What do we do? I think we will do all the three. Yeah, रखना. Thank you. वो दरवाजा बंद करके जाना. Should we take another 10 minutes? We'll complete the Rajasika and the Tamasika also.
Yeah,
I
sure.
I thought we'll finish at 7, but I don't know. Maybe we've been doing three at a time, so I thought it might take us maybe 10-15 minutes, and we'll wind up at 7:15 in 15 minutes from now.
Sure, that's fine.
Rajasika. So let me read the chant the shloka.
Yeah.
सत्कारमानपूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवम्. Satkaramana for the sake of receiving honor, respect, and worship. Cha eva, and indeed, dambhena, with ostentation, yat tapas, the tapas which kriyate is done, tat that, chalam, which is unsteady, adhruvam, not lasting, iha, here, rajasam proktam, is called rajasika. So that tapas which is done for the sake of receiving honor, respect, and worship, and with ostentation, which is unsteady and not lasting, is called here Rajasika. Yeah, you can go ahead, Dr. Mara.
Yeah. This type of worship is done by people not for antakarna shuddhi, but purely for satkara, satkara, skara. Yeah,
Satkara.
satkara.
Satkara is for honor. They want to
No,
be
no,
honored.
satkara. Okay, that is for the purpose of being considered a good person by others. Hmm. Shankara
Like we
says,
talked of yesterday, being
right,
being in the good books of others.
right.
Yeah.
Shankara says it is done so that people will say he is a good person, an ascetic, a brahmana, I am sadhu, tapasvi brahmanaha. He wants to pass all of these. He wants to pass us all of this. He practices austerity so that people will say, look how disciplined he is. How nicely he talks. How he so sparingly, etc. This is exactly what he wants. He is doing tapas for no other purpose. It is just another form of proving oneself. This is called satkara, satkara mana pujartam. Pujartam.
Pujatam.
Yeah,
Satkaramana pujatam.
yeah, satkara mana pujartam. He will also appear in particular form that will reveal that he is a great tapasvi, tapasvi, and he will not do his tapas quietly sitting at home, but in a public place where he can be noticed. He will have the accessories of a sadhu, like a
Kamandalu.
kamandal. Oh my God, kamandal in his hand, and will demand that when he talks in, when he walks in, everybody should get up. This is mana, or yeah, mana.
Mana
They he,
respect. Yeah.
yeah, mana. He makes sure that everybody recognize him as a tapasvi and that they all prostrate to him and receive him with respect. And he will insist that the highest seat is offered to him. If he sits lower than anyone, he will think he is disrespected. This is called mana. He is a tapasvi who, so that everybody will worship him. And he keeps his feet ready for that. Pada puja, that is washing, anointing, and offering flowers, etc., to the feet, is something people generally do to sadhus. But this person poses as a sadhu in order to get that done. It is exactly the reverse of what it is supposed to be. Some people really want that kind of result for their efforts. I knew one person like that. In one particular month, Margashirsha, Margashirsha,
Margashisha.
Margashirsha, we used to go around the town every day early in the morning and sing bhajans. There is one chief, the organizer, who walks in front of the group. Sometimes, as we went around, people would come and offer namaskaras. The leader seemed to enjoy it and look forward to the namaskaras. Some people love it. This is not something that is only for discussion. It is all true. There are people like that. They want respect to be shown to them. This is all because they have no self respect. This type of tapas is done by this person out of damba, uh, just so that he can get recognition, just to make people know that one is a tapasvi, so that he can get all these honors. When he does tapas, he makes sure he has an audience. That tapas is called rajasika here in the shastra. Tat tapaha rajasam proktam iha. This is a tapas that is born of rajoguna. It is chalam, unsteady, and not lasting. Adruvam. Adruvam. People may give him some respect for some time, but later they will find out that he is not a real tapasvi, not a highly disciplined, evolved religious person. Whatever opinion they had will change. This is because when one is not a tapasvi and poses as one, the responsibility is too enormous to maintain. One day or the other, he will burst out. Somebody will fail to respect him the way he wants, and he will get angry. Then people will understand what tapas he has. Therefore, the tapas is not going to last, neither in terms of its practice nor its result. Understand all the problems that people can have. If one is concerned about all this and wants this satkara, mana, and puja. What about the real thing that is there to be studied, to be understood, to assimilate it? There is so much to know. Those things all go down the drain when one is worried about these small things. Next, Bhagwan talks about the Tamasika Tapas. So actually, it's very well said, right? It's
Yeah.
straightforward. Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to be last longer if they're doing it for the name and fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they.
See, even for the respect to fasting, there are people who
Mm,
proclaim, in their circle of friends, oh, I'm
mhm.
fasting today. I'm fasting. You know, Gurudev says, when you're fasting, you fast. You don't need to announce to the whole world that you're fasting.
Right. Unless they're offering some food, yeah, you cannot eat
Yeah,
or something, you can say so.
correct.
Otherwise, you need to do that. Yeah.
Because subtly somewhere down below, they want
Mm,
everybody else to say, oh, this person is so religious, is so disciplined. Maybe
mm,
because they themselves don't have a good esteem of themselves. That's what Swamiji mentioned. They don't
exactly.
have a
Mm,
high, they don't have a high self-esteem.
self-esteem,
Want it
exactly.
from outside. They're
Yeah.
seeking it from outside. Whereas a Satvika person is
Mm.
content with himself.
Right. They
He's
don't
not
show
doing,
out. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
he's not doing it for the sake of others.
Yeah.
Others do not come into the picture at all. He's doing it only for his his improvement, his mental clarity and purity.
Yeah. Here he wants to show off to other people.
Yeah,
Uh,
satkara mana pujartham rajasika is.
like
Whereas
as he
he's
said,
doing it purely
they have a
antakarana shuddhi.
low self-esteem.
Right.
Want to they want
Mm,
other people to respect and things like that. They it doesn't come spontaneously. He
mm.
wants that. The person
No,
wants.
I'm even this class that we are having, even the Gita class we are having, and the
Mm-hmm.
Manana we are doing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it might creep in. People might comment, "Oh, you're doing this." Uh, at our level of our mind, we need to have a filter. We say we are not going to take any of that into our system.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is true what we're doing is something satvika, yes, but if you
Mm.
let others' praises boost up your ego,
Yeah.
then you are no better than a rajasika tapas person,
Exactly.
isn't it? So
Mm-hmm.
we have to have that filter, that shield over there, which
Yeah.
says, yes, I'm doing this. This is for the sake of my antakarana shuddhi. No matter
Exactly.
whether people acknowledge it, do not acknowledge it,
Yeah.
my mental peace will remain the same. I'm not going to get it shaken up, get get it completely elated and bloat out, or
Yeah. Yeah.
come down. So
Exactly. Yeah.
at
Yeah,
every
even the
stage,
small
give it
comments we
the
pass
filter.
to each other.
Mm,
Sometimes people say nice things about each other, and then sometimes we don't, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it shouldn't affect us in a way. I even thought of that, oh, it shoots up. Oh, you're making, feel like it makes you feel good. Well, we should, you should be equanimous with all these things because
Mm,
you're not expecting any of those from
right.
you brought out the same thing that I was thinking about this actually.
Mm,
So it's nice to say nice things about each other. So like that brings that camera, um,
camaraderie there.
right.
And
And
it's
at the
divine to
same time,
praise. See, there's nothing wrong in praising.
right. I
When
mean,
you,
and it's really true though, everybody putting their effort, then
mm,
it is nice to say that, encourage each other, so
mm,
that way we can keep moving forward.
correct.
And yeah, so we don't have to say, oh, this person is better than me, or
Mm,
I don't have that kind of thing, but I just wanted to, people to think in those terms also. We are
yeah.
all in it. We may be at a different wavelength, but still, it shouldn't be that way.
See, I've
Yeah.
always, with respect to this comparison, when I
Yeah.
look at nature, when we look at nature,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different kinds of trees and plants growing out
Mm.
there, and they
Right.
never compete with each other.
Right.
A tall tree does not say, "Oh, I'm so tall," and doesn't look upon the short shrubs and say, "Oh, you're so short."
Yeah.
Each one lives, and they live coexist happily.
Yeah.
There are
Right.
some flowers that have a lot of fragrance. There are some flowers that do not have a fragrance, but they're beautiful.
Mm.
So
They
each
are.
one
Yeah. Yeah.
exists in their own nature. So
Mhm.
similarly, each one of us has our own is unique in so many ways, but we are also the same in a very deep level. We are all the
Mm.
same.
Right.
So with respect to comparison, when we look at nature, there's so much that we learn. So there's no
Mm.
looking down or up at anyone.
Right.
We're all different levels, so that's fine. But this Rajasika thing is so important because it's so easy for our ego to get carried away by,
Right. Yeah.
by either
We have to.
praises or humiliation, either way.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Get-
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, you don't want to get carried away with those kind of things. At the same time, oh yeah, we want to be at the level
yeah.
equanimous.
So
Yeah,
what
keep
is
it
required is
reminded.
a level of awareness. When
Awareness. Yeah.
we are
Mhm.
aware with this knowledge that we have learned, what is Satvika Tapas, what is Rajasika Tapas, then with
Mhm.
that awareness, we are able to screen and shield and filter out all the other things that are not conducive to our growth.
Yeah. Hmm.
So should we finish Tamasika Tapas also? Next, Bhagwan talks about Tamasika Tapas.
Hmm.
Mudo ya mudo muda grahenatmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsādanārtham va tattamasamudahritam. Muda grahena, due to deluded understanding, atmanaha pidaya, by afflicting one's body, va, or parasya, of another, utsadanartham, for the sake of destruction, yat tapas, the tapas which kriyate is done, tat, that, tamasam, tamasika udahritam is called. This footnote for that self-respect is, if you don't respect yourself, you want others to respect you so that you can see yourself as respectable. And there is always someone to show that respect to you. But there is no growth and no possibility of antakarana shuddhi here, because you're only feeding your ego.
Yeah, the Savita ji, she had the question about self-respect, self-esteem. I tried to give some example. I don't know if she's here today, but this is something
Yeah,
you can
correct.
okay.
So I'll go up.
I don't know if she's here now. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to read the
Yeah, you can start from this, that tapas which is done due to deluded understanding.
oh yeah, okay. That tapas which is done due to deluded understanding by afflicting one's body or for the sake of destroying another is called tamasika. Muda Muda grahena means
Grahena. The grahena.
grahena. Yeah, Muda grahena means with perception that is deluded. Okay, the perception that is deluded. This is because of a lack of discrimination about oneself, about what is to be done, and about what is the proper and what is improper. None of this is very clear. With this lack of discrimination, one afflicts oneself, Atmanaha, one's own body, with the tapas. It afflicts not only the body, but also the mind, and does not produce very much of a result. Standing on one leg for a length of time, or lying on a bed lying on a bed of nails is the type of tapas referred to here. Of course, there should be a lot of people to watch him. Only then will he do that. You can see all these types of tapasvis at the Kumbh Mela. That's true. Further, such tapas is sometimes done for the purpose of destruction of another person. Parasya
Parasya utsadanartham.
utsadhanat. People who have the disposition of an asura or rakshasa, like Ravana, do a lot of tapas just for the destruction of their enemies. Such a person wants to gain some power or get hold of some spirit so that he can send it to destroy people. So this is what is commonly called black magic. There is mantra sastra for all this, but I do not think it works these days. Some extraordinary asura tapas is required for that, and I do not think anyone is doing it now. Tapas like this is called tamasa. Now, the three types of tapas, satvika, rajasa, and tamasa, in terms of the guna that is predominant in their performance, have been told. Two types of tapas, rajasa and tamasa, are mentioned so that we can avoid them. And only one, satvika tapas, is really tapas. In the same way, giving charity, dana, is also threefold in terms of guna. That is being enumerated from the next verse onwards. Yeah.
So we'll take that up tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is such a revealing, so much Bhagwan has given, no? So much of
Yeah.
description and
So yeah, he wants you to know what is rajas and tamas, which is actually true. Like I from Tamil Nadu, right? That Pollachi is the city, where town where we lived. There is one temple, we call it as a Mariamman temple. Mariamman, I don't know, it's like one goddess. It's not exactly Kali, but Mariamman. Then the neem leaves, that the Masi month, which is after Thai, that, in February, March, there'll be a festival for the temple, they carry this, they call it as puvode, which means they have a pot, they fill it with they pray like something happened in the family. Oh, I'll do this during festival. So they put this fire in it, like the wood and all that, and then they carry it to the temple. They go in a procession and they take it to the temple. Like the Nanaji also said, there's a bed of like the fire they will keep, and then people run on top
walk
of
on
it,
that. Yeah.
walk on that. Yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
those are like the self-affliction. We think those are all okay, but here he says that is type of that is tamasika.
Tamasika.
Mm-hmm. Such things, it looks like. I mean, that's some belief they used to have in those days. But in other town where they just celebrate for this Amman, uh, they make like the Rocky, like with the Rocky powder, they make like a semi-solid type of liquid, semi-liquid type of thing, and then they take it to the temple, and then they make a pongal, and then they put velak, means like with rice flour they make like deepa for the goddess, and then they give all that to they pray prayer, they offer that for the prayer. So that is a little different than this.
Yeah. that may be just a tradition, but
Yeah.
what comes under Tamasika is one, when
Afflict
you
themselves.
are
Yeah.
afflicting your own body, physically torturing your body, like
Right.
piercing nails, walking on this bed of fire, and hmm,
Yeah. I've seen all those things, but
and if you're doing things to gain powers to destroy others, like
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
you want to gain some strength to destroy, to have the capacity to destroy. So that is something that is,
God for everything, right? On top of that, you don't have enough time as per yourself, and then
yeah.
even
You
destroying
wonder
other
how
people
people
is,
can have such a mentality, but then they exist. See,
yeah.
that is why I was just amazed at how we have different mentalities. And then it brought
Mm-hmm.
me back to the knowledge that Maya is Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika. All the
Mm-hmm.
three gunas are there. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole world, the whole creation is a permutation and combination of these three gunas.
Yeah.
So therefore, you have this multitude of tendencies out there. You have
Mm-hmm.
sattvic, completely sattvic. You have rajasic, tamasic, and you have a mixture. So the number of permutations, combinations is infinite. So from
Mm-hmm.
there, we will have to see ourselves, the evolution of the human spirit, and what Swamiji in the initial chapter said,
Mm-hmm.
maturation, emotional maturation. That is our
Yeah.
purushartha.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you can grow. You'll grow like any other animal and plant. You will grow
Right.
physically. But are you growing mentally? Are you growing emotionally, spiritually? So this
Mm-hmm.
evolution from all our tamasika, rajasika tendencies moving up towards sattvika, and
Yeah.
then cleansing ourselves, and then finally letting this knowledge dawn. That is, I think, the whole evolution of our human mind and
Right. Yeah.
no.
Except, yeah, that's true. That except the couple of things that I told you. Other
Mm.
than that, like as the Swamiji says, I don't think people are even able to get to that kind of like
That is
Rahul or somebody else,
right,
that
right.
they have to do so much of tapas before
Mm.
they get there. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so
And
much.
therefore, we don't also look down upon people.
Yeah.
They're at their level. We only have compassion for them. And if
Right.
we can, educate them. That's it. But
Mhm.
otherwise, we do not look down upon people who are lowly or tamasika, rajasika. We just observe and smile and say, oh, this is also there.
Yeah, it's there because yeah, you don't laugh at them because you only think whatever the problem was they had in their life, that's what made them to do this, like
Correct,
what to given their level of knowledge or their circumstances or the
correct.
environment. And so somebody had told, oh, do this, that you will get better. People just
Right.
believe that, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. I think so. Therefore, we live and let live. Do not
Mhm.
pass judgments and all that. If you can and you have the opportunity and you
Yeah.
are in a capacity to do, you educate them and let go. That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will disturb you unnecessarily, and then it will make you start feeling internally you have that damba, that Rajasika nature will start up saying, oh, I'm better than them. You will start comparing yourself, which is not done. You're
Yeah.
here for your own for your growth, for your antakarana shuddhi. It is not for you to show one-upmanship at all. It is not a competition here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But nowadays, I don't even know they're doing all those things because I've been out of that town more than 40 years now, and my
right,
family also moved out. But it used to be, but Mariamman is one of the, when people get like smallpox or chicken pox, they
right, right.
say, right? That Amman is
In
called
Telugu,
Mariamman.
we call it when the chicken pox, smallpox comes. In fact, it's called Ammavaru. They say Amma
Ammavar. Yeah,
has come.
exactly.
They say
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
goddess has come on to them.
Yeah. Ammavar. That's exactly right.
Hmm.
they put the neem leaves and
Correct.
next to the bed and all that, right? Yeah. So that's what the prayer was. Anyway,
Nice.
yeah.
So we
I
thought
think.
we'll finish at 7. We are finishing at 7:30.
Oh my God.
I think
Okay, let's finish.
tomorrow
You
be
do the
able to
chant.
complete chapter 17, and then after that we'll go back to chapter 3 where we left, and we'll
Okay.
restart chapter 3. Huh?
Yeah,
We'll do chapter 3.
that'll be good.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Om Sahana. Does anyone want to share anything before we close? Malti ji, Savita ji. All right. So let's close.
Jai Gurudev, it's a small thing. It
Yes,
is
Sheila.
called Ammanavru. Yeah, it is called Ammanavru because on during those days the deity was considered highest and not the scientific way. So they have been kept in a secluded place, so nobody goes near them. So that contamination or the spread of that disease is being stopped. Jai Gurudev.
Yeah. Nice. They didn't have all these infectious diseases control and all, but they knew from observation. And so they gave, everything was given a spiritual, a religious angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those days, like now with the corona, we are isolated, right?
Mm.
In India, nobody can come in. Somebody had chickenpox, nobody comes inside our house.
Correct.
You have to stay outside only. It's so much. We had same restrictions, like even without all this public lockdown and all that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Jai.
Mhm.
They were scientific in so many ways, our ancestors. Yeah. Good. Thank you for sharing, Sheilaji. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.